Closing is always easy when you're in Cardone U. We role play with Grant Cardone's team. They know just what to do. They're always there to support us. We couldn't ask for more. On our way in the right direction, we found what we're looking for. In FLC, in FLC. Closing is better with appointment setters. You'd better believe we're not a team but a family. We work together in harmony. We are devoted, and that you can quote me in FLC. We welcome the newbies gladly. We know there's so much to learn. We've got your back for a lifetime. There's no need for concern. Just look at the world around you. There's deals to close everywhere. And if you face an objection, what would Jabari say? In FLC, in FLC, objections are easy. If you don't believe me, I have to agree. We can role play at any time. To disagree, that is a crime. We're practicing to get the cha-chings in FLC. In FLC. Since we started training, our leads ain't complaining. They're so happy. We get to role play with Big Brother Dave. We've got Coach Sean, the best coach ever born in FLC. All of our closers, they keep their composure. 10X is the goal, Uncle G, well he knows. We've got the spirit, and you've got to hear it. We're FLC.
Hello, hello everyone. Welcome to another Sunday Hangout with Misty and Josie. Misty and Josie. And this time I'm so excited to say that we have the one, the only, the legend in the FLC community and also creator of that song, if you didn't know, Seb Williams has joined us. So thank you so much for being here, Seb.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, anytime. This week's topic is a celebration of Seb being here, is marketing and high quality lead generation. So we're going to get all into that good stuff, that juicy marketing that we all love, especially Seb. And I feel like we're taught that business is hard, right? We're taught that you need to go to university, you need to get a business degree, you need to have all these plans, like this roadmap before you start business, and that's just not true. Business, as we like to say, business is easy. It should be simple. So I did want to come to you, Seb, to ask you, why is business hard? Is this a myth? Is it true? What do you think?
What a great first question. I love that. Is business hard or is it easy? First of all, thank you so much, Misty, Josie, for having me on. I want to give you guys a big shout out, a massive hoo-ha-hoo, running this hangout every single week, always providing so much value for the Smile community and bringing wonderful guests on. So I feel honored to be a part of that. So thank you both very, very much for your leadership and your contribution. Let's see, we've got a few people tuning in. Hey, Edit. Hey, Gail. Nice to see you guys here. Make sure to drop a comment as you're tuning in so we can give you a little shout out, say hello. But in answer to your question, Josie, is business hard? Let me ask you a question. Reversing this situation. Do you think business is hard? If you just had to say like yes or no, do you think business is hard? Before
I learned more about it, yes. To give you not a yes or a no, like you asked.
Yeah. There's nuance, right? Misty, what would you say? Is it hard? Is it easy?
I think the perception of it is hard, but I think it's actually easier than what we think it is.
I like that. I agree with both of you. I think the truth lies somewhere in the middle. I don't think it's quite so black and white. Mm-hmm. And I think the real answer is individual, right? For some people, if they go around thinking business is hard, that is their truth. If you wake up every day and go, this, whether it's business, whether it's life, whether it's making money, whether it's making relationships, whatever it is, whether it's baking a cake, I don't know what you want to do. But if you go around saying that's really hard, what are you most likely to experience, right? You're going to get the same kind of feedback that you're putting out. Now, you don't want to lie to yourself because then it becomes toxic, right? If you go around saying, it's so easy, making 7 figures, easy peasy. And you're sat there going, I can't even make 1 figure, never mind 7. That doesn't build a great culture within yourself, right? It's completely out of alignment. There's no congruency. So then it will be difficult. You face a lot of resistance. For me, I think you have to. Gail says cake is easy. Absolutely.
Of course, Seb went foodie.
We're 2 minutes into the live, and that's just just how we roll.
Yeah, it's standard.
Exactly. Pierre would be proud.
Definitely.
But this is the thing, right? Like I think it's up to you to define it, and it's based on your perspective. And ultimately, and we've spoken about this a lot recently with students, we speak about it with clients all the time, is you have to choose your hard, right? Or as I would like to say, choose your easy. Because really you have 2 options with anything. You can either do it or you can't. Yeah. How many options? 2 options. You can either do something or you can't do it, or you won't do it. That's okay. But if you decide you want to do something, like you do want to launch a business and you do want to break free from whatever situation you're in now and move to somewhere, more in alignment with yourself, then what's harder? Staying stuck somewhere you don't belong and not chasing your goals and not going after it and living a life of unfulfilled potential? Or is it harder, easier to try, to pursue goals? You might not achieve them. You're capable of it for sure. There's no doubt about that. But what's harder, staying stuck or moving forward?
Staying stuck.
Yeah, I would definitely say staying stuck.
Right?
Or let me ask this really quick.
Yeah.
Would you think that staying stuck is harder or moving forward is easier? Or is it take the same amount of energy to do either one?
Now that's an interesting question.
I feel like it also depends where in the process you are.
Yeah.
If you're starting from nothing or a little bit.
Yeah, because momentum is a very real thing, right? Consistency, building discipline, or as I prefer to say, devotion to something, Yeah, the start, but then it's that same thing, right? Of the fear lies in the anticipation of taking action. The longer you put something off, the harder, quote unquote, harder it's going to feel to start. It's like when you haven't been to the gym for 6 months, that first session, the first session's a whole situation on its own, right? But getting to the gym for that first session, oh my gosh, that's why it took 6 months, right? It's like, geez. But once you go, then the second one's not so hard. And then eventually you build this consistency thing, right? And you build some momentum and it starts to become a little bit easier. So is it harder staying stuck or is it harder getting started? If you're looking at big picture, it's harder to stay stuck.
Okay.
In my opinion, based on when I think back over for those of you that don't know my story, 3.5 years ago, I was bankrupt. Not a penny to my name, literally signed everything away. So I was starting from less than nothing. But it was so much harder. Like starting from less than nothing was actually, it was like, all this weight that felt like was holding me down was gone. There was no baggage. There was nothing holding me back. There was no expectation. There was none of that, right? Up until that point, and I circled and swam in that, I was going to swear then, that sea of SH, right? I marinated in that for like 2 years. And you can imagine swimming in those waters for 2 years, you get pretty stinky. It's not good. That was hard, denying it constantly and not making an effort to change it. And just really, it was more the internal thing. I could lie to my friends and my family all day long. They had no idea the crap I was going through. They had no idea. Sometimes people get an inkling, right? But it was really the internal dialogue, like lying to myself, that breaking those promises to myself, that was difficult. That was really, really difficult. And then it becomes a question of identity. And that's really, really deep. Like, and this, people might be listening to this thinking, this has nothing to do with marketing. This has nothing to do with lead generation. I promise you it does. I promise you.
It does. I can totally resonate with that.
In alignment and you can able to move forward. Sharing a message, empowering others becomes easier because you're able to do that with yourself, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%. Sorry, Misty, go ahead.
Inspired J on YouTube says, interesting topic, and says it's hard to get out of the funk, which is totally true. And I can vouch for, yes, I can resonate completely with where Seb had come from, because I've been going through that. So yeah, so it's harder to, but if you look at it from this point of view, like Seb is kind of saying, if you're in that funk, it's harder to stay in that funk than it is to get out of it, because all you have to do is start trying and working and get your focus and go for it. And then you can come out of it much easier than you got into it.
Imagine staying in that funk for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
That's not.
Yeah.
You weren't born to live in a funk. No way.
Yeah. Yeah. Amen.
No way.
I absolutely 1,000,000,000% agree, because the two things came. Count zeros. Add as many zeros to that as you like, just not 1 0. But two things came to my mind when you were talking. How many things? Two things. One is something you've said before is, I think something you were told that you then said to us is, what is keeping you so loyal to the life that's keeping you so stuck? I absolutely love that. That
question
quote.
Changed my life.
Yeah. And thank you for sharing it with us and sharing it with everyone. And something else that I know I kind of talked to you a little bit about this past week is the feeling of staying stuck and not reaching my full potential is such a horrible feeling to me. And I think that's what I find the hardest about not going for it and like not going for my dreams. The feeling of, I can do better. Why aren't I doing it? That's what will motivate me to go.
Question of, I would say it's identity again, right? Normally with identity, it's people say they're going to do something and then they don't. And when you break those small promises to yourself, it really has it's the small things that compound, right? It's the little steps that make the difference. It's the subtle nuances in life that will get you from where you are now to where you want to be. So if you consider, like, just food is such an easy example, right? I'm going to start this diet on Monday. I'm going to go to the gym on Monday. Monday comes around, you don't go. It's middle of the week now. This party's happening, whatever. I'm busy. I've got a lot of work. Monday, I'm starting. Monday comes around again. You don't do it. Every time you break that promise to yourself, you are causing such a disalignment between your mind, body, and spirit. It has such a ripple effect. It builds and it builds and it builds. And that's when you get that feeling, like you were saying, Josie. But then it can work the other way as well. It's like you think that you haven't said it to yourself, like, I'm going to do this thing, but you are aware of it. And for me, it's the same. But it's just whether you've verbalized it or not. It's whether you've spoken it out loud. Because as soon as you've thought it, you can't unthink it. And if you know that your potential is more than what you're currently doing, I think you owe it to yourself to try to step into that. Right? And again, it's easier. Getting started might be the difficult thing. But it's so much easier once you surrender to it. And then you look back. Me and Jabari have this conversation all the time. We go, we thought we were busy. And then something else comes along and we start doing this and whatever else. And we're like, when we said we thought we were busy before, we had no idea. But it's, your capacity grows of what you realize you are capable of. And then you trust yourself more to actually just try, just lean into the idea of, maybe I can do that.
Yeah. What's the worst that could happen?
Exactly. Dr. Pepper's still alive and kicking. Love that slogan.
I like what's the best that could happen better than I do the other one.
Now we're talking, Misty.
I like that one better. What's the best that could happen? Because we don't want to focus on the negative part of things. We want to focus on the positive, so we can move forward and give us that momentum. And I know you two can't see the comments from YouTube, so I'm gonna every once in a while throw those out to you.
Yeah.
Inspired J says, I have been bankrupt and now I buy property assets. You need a great reason to make things happen. Also, they say, I agree. Sometimes you set yourself up to do something. You are more apt to do it.
Yep. Totally agree.
Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah.
That's often why people let themselves fall solo. You know, like, and I look back at my journey, my story. Like, I was doing okay, and then it just progressively just got a little bit worse, and then it seemed like overnight I was like suddenly unrecognizable. But it was that compound effect of lots of small little things slipping and just letting things slide.
Yeah.
But it's because you don't have a strong enough reason why yet as to change it. That's the thing. Like, for me, I really needed strangers knocking at my door, threatening to take all my stuff out of my house for me to be like, this is real. Like, this is not just a letter in the post. Like, this is, like, that was my wake, you know, that urged me to think differently.
Yeah, exactly. You need a why. If you don't have a why, write one down now. Like, it's you, and go back to it, because without a why, I personally feel very unmotivated. As much as I do.
What's your why?
My why? I grew up with not a lot of money. Like, my parents didn't have a lot of money, but they still kind of did whatever they could to make sure that I had like a good life growing up, and to take me on these holidays and stuff. And I have a few whys, but one of my biggest whys is I really just want to give back to my parents and make sure that they are okay. And they don't have to work till they're, work till they're old, because they work so hard right now. So that's probably my biggest why. I want to be able to look after them the way they did for me. Yeah. It's so important. And if anyone hasn't already, I'd really encourage for you to get people around you that will remind you of this why and keep you accountable, because I personally, what I'm doing right now, like all the growth that I'm doing right now, couldn't do it without these people and the whole FLC family. So, yeah.
Beautiful. You were going to say something, Misty?
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about lead generation, high quality lead generation and marketing.
Let's dive into it. Let's get into it.
So my question is, I guess it's 2 or 3-part question. When people are marketing, should they go, when they're doing their ads and marketing, should they only pick specific areas of social media to market to? Or should they blanket all social media? Is there a better way or an alternative to just doing social media marketing? And then I guess this is a separate question, but when they're doing their ads, is it better to go into intricate detail with their ads, or should they keep it simple? So Josie. I guess it's like...
Sorry,
great question.
Just before Seb speaks, if you don't have a notepad and book, I get one, because this guy knows what he's talking about. So
you definitely want pen and paper. Definitely want it. You want to be able to write down everything that comes out of this man's mouth, even from the moment this video started, this life started. You want to write it all down. It's gold.
You guys are so sweet. I feel like I better deliver on the promise. No pressure.
We have complete faith in you, Seb.
Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. So This is a great question. Really, really great question. And before we dive into it, and I'll give you as full and detailed as an answer as I can in the time that we have on that. I'm sure you've got other questions as well. So, but before we get into it, the first thing, if people are taking notes, and these ladies are so right. Like everywhere we go, pen and paper, you want to be prepared. Like I never turn up to a call without being able to take notes somewhere, because there's always going to be an aha moment. You're always going to have like a bingo light bulb. That was the thing I needed to hear today. And it might not be something brand new that you hear. It might be something that you've heard before, but quite often we need to hear things again and again and again for it to really click. Because as we continue to grow as individuals, we'll hear something the second time, the third time, but we'll hear it completely differently because we've changed since we last heard it. So always come prepared. You can learn from every conversation. Now, that being said, because that's the nerd that I am, so I just want to make sure everyone else is prepared as well. The reason that we spend, how long we've been on live? Maybe 15 minutes or something, 20 minutes now.
Yes,
The reason we spend 20 minutes, and this is really important for everyone to write down, mindset over mechanics. Like it's a division, right? Like, or a fraction or what. I'm not a math person, you can tell, right? Mindset over mechanics. You really want to write that down nice and big in your notebook. And that's the reason why we spend 20 minutes talking about mindset. You can see that's just part of the FLC culture here. It's part of who we are, and it's part of why we are able to get such great results and why our clients and our students get such great results. Because we can talk, and we will talk about marketing, about high quality lead generation so that you can make more sales and make more profit. We'll dive into all of that. But in my opinion, based on my experience from what I've seen in my results and what I've seen for others, is all of that is useless if this isn't in the right place. You can learn everything, but if you ain't got the mindset to be open to what you hear and then actually apply what resonated with you, what made sense to you, then why are you tuning in, right? You'd be better going and watching Netflix for the next half an hour, unless this and this are singing in harmony. So then when you hear the knowledgeable, implementable marketing stuff, that it makes sense for you to invest the time, right? So I just wanted to throw that out there because some people, they tune in and they're like, oh, why are they talking about mindset again? It's always mindset. It's so freaking important, right? It really, really is. It's the biggest difference between the people that get a result and the people that don't. Now, that being said, let's dive into some marketing stuff. For those that don't know, over the last 2 years, I feel very fortunate to have done over $2.5 million, nearing in on $3 million in sales online from my marketing. Thank you very much. Wahoo, indeed, right? As you know, that wasn't always the case. There was a time when I couldn't pay the rent. And in a short space of time, things have really changed. And I put it down to, like, you can't sell something if people aren't aware of what you have to offer, right? This is the most important thing. People have to be aware of your product. You have to have the visibility for it to make any sense as a business. You might have invented the most amazing thing in the world, but if no one knows who you are or what you do, you're just a person with a cool thing. Nice. Yeah. How are you going to make money off that, right? Like, you got to be able to make some kind of impact, some kind of transformation for people. And then you can have a value exchange. And that's where the monetary return comes. So marketing is senior to sales. You want to write that down. Marketing is senior to sales. Sales is fantastic. It really is. But marketing comes first, right? Now, in answer to your question, Misty, where should people direct their efforts, right? This was the thing. Should they try every social media platform? Should they stick to one? Should they do this, that? Right? There's a question we get a lot. In my opinion, you need to answer two of the questions first. Question number one. Two questions. Question number one. What problem are you solving? You got to be really, really clear on that. Like, what specific transformation do you help people achieve with your product, with your service? What problem are you solving? Now, even if you're a comedian, you're solving a problem for people, right? You make people laugh. You give them that beautiful experience. You give them memories. You gift them so much as so it doesn't matter what you do. You could be a life coach and you could help people turn their lives around and offer value in that way. You could do what we do at FLC and help people launch and scale their businesses. It's a very specific transformation. You want to be able to say it in a sentence that an 8-year-old could understand. If you don't have that sentence figured out yet in your business, Stop everything and figure that out, in my opinion. Because if you're not clear on it, how on earth are you going to market it? How are you going to communicate it? Doesn't matter what social media platform you're on. If your message ain't clear, you got to get your message figured out first, right? You put a confusing message out on every social media platform there is. Great. You just confused everybody and yourself, and it took a really long time. Well done. Clap it up, right? Nice job. No, don't do it, Get clear on your first, right? One sentence, something an 8-year-old could understand. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Don't make it hard, lemon hard. Okay? Second question.
I love your little quotes you come up with. These are so awesome.
I must give credit to my friend Beth for the hard, lemon hard. She said it, and it will forever remain in my brain. That's great marketing, right? Hard, lemon hard. People are going to remember that. Has nothing to do with anything, but good marketing, right? Yep. Anyway, so first thing, what problem are you solving? Get super, super specific. And you might be able to solve 12 problems for people with your product. I don't know. FLC solves more than one problem. But we focus, whenever we're marketing on different things, we focus on one specific transformation at a time with our messaging. So you might be able to write 10, 12, 30, 40, 50 different things, specific transformations that you help people achieve with your products and services. If you've got loads, great, but communicate one at a time, right? Don't try and communicate them all. Otherwise, again, it gets messy.
You overwhelm people.
Exactly. You try and speak to everybody and solve everybody's problem all at the same time. You don't speak to nobody and you don't help nobody.
Yeah.
Right? The more specific you get, the more laser targeted you get. Imagine you're like a sniper. Like you want to be that laser pinpoint focused on the transformation you help people get. Because then I'm sure this is another question you guys had. I'm jumping the gun a little bit, but I get so excited about this stuff. Is quite often people say, I don't know what to say in my content. What do I write about? What do I want to do a reel, but I don't know what to say. Like, what do I write in my caption? Well, if you know what problem you solve, suddenly you know what to say, right? If we're talking about marketing as an example, I could talk on here for days and not run out of things to say. Because I know the specific transformation we're going to help people achieve through this live. We're going to help people understand the importance of marketing and the basics and the fundamentals of where to start to get clearer on their message and communicating that. Right?
Absolutely. Yep.
So all of these questions, all this overwhelm, all of that anxiety that it might cause, all of those questions and problems and resistance and stickiness that people feel in their marketing, get really clear. What problem are you solving? That's the first thing. Second thing, who are you solving it for? And again, you might be able to write down a whole bunch of different answers for this. FLC, we could help millennials. We could help Gen Zs, Josie, right? The 2000 and babies. We could help baby boomers, right? That's the 60s and 70s, Josie, right? We could help anybody. But we get specific, right?
Right.
Maybe it's an age range. Maybe it's a gender. Maybe it's a demographic in terms of location, like geographic location. Maybe it's an interest, a different niche, a different industry. It could be so many different things. Like one of my programs that I sell, the Downline Accelerator, speaks to network marketers only. And if you are in network marketing, you know exactly what network marketing is. If you think it's a scam and a this and a that and whatever else, then good, you're not my ideal client. Perfect. Because I know what problem I'm solving and who for, right? So I speak to the right people so I can use the right language. I can use their terminology. I know what problems they've got. I can speak their language and resonate. Right?
Qualified.
So these two things, exactly. It's qualification and it works both ways. You want to push people aside. Say push. You want to separate, right? Push people out of the frame. I can't help you.
Just get out of here.
You're not my ideal client. No.
Just move over.
Don't go push it anywhere around people. Okay? You get the idea, right? You want to have that separation of like, I know who I'm helping. And I know maybe I can help those people, but right now I'm going to focus on this pocket of the audience. I'm going to laser target that message to those people so that they understand it. Then I understand it. They understand it. Everybody starts singing in harmony. It starts moving. It starts working. So whenever we come to market anything, whether it's maybe even if it's just a different webinar that we're doing or a different training or a different challenge, might be selling the same product. I'm going to think, who are we going to market it to? So what problem specifically we're going to help people solve? Is it launching? Is it scaling? Is it leads? Is it sales? You try and communicate all of those things. It's a bit much usually. Pick one. One's enough. One's enough. We know if someone's got one of those problems, they've likely got problems with the others. They might have, might be a great salesperson, they just don't have the leads. They don't have it automated. So they don't need our help with sales. We'll still train them on it, but we can help all those other things, right? So we pick one message at a time. So I always come back to, whenever we're marketing anything, what problem are we solving and who for? That is the fundamental. And to answer this now answers your question specifically, Misty, is because when you figure that out, you know where those people are, right? Like if you're promoting something to Gen Zs, I don't know what they like, Josie. I don't know what you're into.
I could give you a list.
Exactly. But my instinct would be, I'm going to go towards TikTok probably and Instagram, right?
That makes
And that's
sense.
where I'm going to go where the people are.
Yeah.
Right. Russell Brunson talks about this all the time. Like, he's a wrestler, right? For those that don't know. For those that don't know who Russell Brunson is, he's the founder of ClickFunnels, incredible marketer. He's a wrestler though. He's a college wrestler, state wrestler, all the rest of it. Wrestling. But he talks about this, like that example, like offline, he knows where the wrestling communities are, right? He knows where they hang out. He knows where they train. He knows where they spend social time together outside of training and events and competitions. He knows that community. All he has to do when you're marketing online is think, well, which platform do those people hang out on? Where is that community online? Now, everyone's probably going to have an Instagram, a Facebook, a YouTube. Like people use all of the platforms really. But majority, they're going to spend the majority of their time and find the right content they're looking for at the right time on the right platform. So if you know what problem you're solving and who for, now you have a specific person in mind, you know where they hang out. Where do they spend the most of the time when they're thinking about the problem that you solve? And then just go to where the people are. It's that simple. And if you're like just starting out, you're a one-person band, you don't need to do all the platforms. One of them is enough. One of them done well is better than all of them done poorly, in my opinion.
That's true.
I love that.
You can really dedicate some time and some energy into producing great content for the right platform so that it ranks in the algorithm properly, that's friendly for that platform in terms of dimensions and, all the different trends, because there's nuances, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's nuance on every platform. So you want to speak that platform's language. But wherever your people are, just go and hang out where they are. Go and be where they are. And quite likely, we see this all the time, right? You guys know this. Quite likely, your best avatar, your client that you really want to help the most is you before you had the problem that you solved for yourself or someone helped you solve. So if you think you 6 months ago, or you a year ago, or you however long ago, where were you at that time? Were you on Instagram? Were you on TikTok? Were you on Facebook? Were you on YouTube? Were you on blogs? Where were you? Where were you hanging out when you were facing that problem and trying to find the solution? Oh, okay, now I know where to be as the person providing the solution, where I was.
Yeah.
So simple. And then you know the language to speak, you know what words to use, you know exactly what problems, like, whether they're frustrated or angry. There's a big difference between the two, right? Which one were you? You might not have been frustrated. You might have just been angry. Like I was never frustrated. I was angry. And then, do you see what I mean? Like this, so you know which words, all this, I don't know what to say. You do. When you got real clarity on who you're helping and what problem you're solving, all of the stuff starts to come together.
Yeah. Then you just know.
Exactly.
So powerful. So powerful. Thank you so much. See what I mean about having a notebook and pen, guys? And also, by the way, I know we've got a few people on here. If anyone has any specific questions, that's a hard word to say. Specific. Feel free to drop them in the I can't speak.
In the chat.
Feel free to drop them in the chat for this short time that we have Seb here. He can answer your question for you.
Absolutely.
I had a question, if that's all right.
Yes, go for it.
Like you go ahead. I know that to market, put ads out there costs money, right? You wanna output to get a return input.
Mm-hmm.
But I know some people when they're first starting don't have that option. So what advice would you give to firstly people who don't have that option to spend, that lots of money on ads and trial and error and all that?
Yeah.
And then maybe for people who do have that kind of money, what's the different piece of advice?
It's a really, really great question. And the reason that I'm kind of smiling and laughing to myself when you're asking it is because that's where I was when I started. I couldn't afford ads, or I didn't think I could. So again, it's mindset over mechanics, right?
Mm-hmm.
I stopped eating out every day, and it's mad, isn't it? Like when you bankrupt, you're still like, I go to Starbucks every day. It's like escapism, right? But I got real with myself. So this might apply for some people. It might be a case of you really just need to be honest with yourself of like, is there perhaps somewhere just for the short term, like short-term loss for long-term gain, right? Maybe I can stop spending £3 a day at Starbucks and start spending £3, £4, £5 a day on my ads instead. Maybe that's an option that you have that you just need to be open enough to be like, that's worthwhile. It might be the case of like, you just can't, like, and that is the reality. Sometimes you just can't have the money for ads. You got food to put in the fridge, you got rent to pay, all the rest of it. Those should be the priorities. Absolutely. In that case, obviously you want to focus more on the organic route, first of all. But I would say to everybody, you definitely want to have the goal to launch ads, paid ads, as quickly as possible. Unless you hate making money quickly. Like if you're okay with making money really slowly, then that's fine. That's completely okay. But the more you can automate, the sooner, the quicker you're going to grow. That's just the reality of the situation. There's no getting around that. And now everybody has different ambition. But regardless of your ambition in terms of how much money you want to generate and how many sales you want to make, how many people you want to help, I feel confident everybody watching this would agree with me that being able to buy your time back is a really wonderful, exciting thought to consider. And if you have the ability to do that, why wouldn't you? So you could spend continually hours and hours and hours producing, posting, editing, making content, or you could create some ads and allow them to run on autopilot. Even with your organic content, you could outsource it. You can still make the content, but you can outsource the editing, the posting, even some of the copywriting, but you're still in the face, right? You're still in the videos, you're still in the pictures, if it's a personal brand, right? So you can still remove your time from the equation and buy your time back by outsourcing in either ads. We have this phrase, you want to automate or delegate. If you can't automate something, delegate it. Buy your time back, right? So hopefully that's the first important thing to think about. But then after that, what I did is I literally just looked at my finances and I was like, okay, if I just stop buying a sandwich and a coffee every day, everywhere I go, I can just use that money instead to pay for ads. £5 a day, $5 a day, bare minimum, completely achievable for anybody to get to quite quickly. Even if they're like, okay, right now I can't afford that, but make it your goal in the next month or two to be able to afford that. And this is the important thing. You want to include that in your budget, in your finances, in your cash flow forever. The way I thought about it was like, this is part of my rent now. I cannot miss a single month where I don't put $150, $200, $300 out, and it starts to climb up because as you start to get better at it, you get more returns, you can start investing more, and the whole thing really scales. But I was like, I am just doing this. This is just forever now, always and forever. I might not make any money back at first. I might really suck at it. I might just put all like $150 out every month and nothing happens. No sales. But I'm going to do it because I know that it works and I just need to get good enough at it. And the only way I'm going to do that is if I commit. So like the commitment, I think, is the most important thing. How you get there might be a different path for everybody. But once you are there, you just got to, like, this is just a forever thing now. This isn't a try it for a month. If it doesn't work, try something else. How many things have you tried and still not got to where you want to be yet? All right. Find something that aligns with you and stick with it until it works. And if like automation aligns with you, paid marketing is a must, an absolute must.
Yeah, I agree. I'm
with you.
Yeah, I'm with you. I agree 100%. You're right. Sorry, Misty, were you going to say anything?
No, I was trying to think of something. I've got something in my head, but I can't formulate how to say it.
Do you want to give it a try?
Misty?
Well, it's kind of what I'm thinking is marketing and high quality lead generation. Aren't those the same thing? Or what would be the difference between the two? because with your marketing, you're bringing in the leads. So,
yes. So I would say one is the, like, marketing is such a broad term, right?
Yeah.
The result of good marketing is high quality lead generation. But marketing is the action that leads to the result. That's how I would look at it, right?
Yeah.
They're two very different things, you know? And like the reason for marketing is the intent to lead to a sale, in my opinion. Like all of it is set up with the intent to help somebody, with the intent to make a sale. But I was going to say, I'm not like with marketing, you're not selling, but you are always selling, right?
Yeah.
With your Facebook ad, you're selling the click to the landing page. With the landing page, you're selling the idea of getting the free gift, the lead magnet, whatever it is.
Yeah.
With the lead magnet, you're selling the idea of building a relationship. With building a relationship, you get the idea. Like there's a sell at every point of the journey, but the marketing is the beginning of that journey with the intention to make a sale.
Makes sense.
Yeah, thank you for clearing that up, because I often feel like it's a different language, and that's also something I wanted to kind of touch on. I know we have about 5 minutes left.
I'm quick,
but I know it's gone so quick. It always does. I wanted to say that. So when I first started, before finding FLC, I was trying all of it by myself, and I was trying to do these Facebook ads myself and trying to watch videos online on how to do it. And I spent so much time and money that I didn't really have on all this trial and error, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. Like I just said, it's like a different language to me. So I did want to encourage anyone watching. We're asking these questions to get a better understanding, and we're talking about how it's easy, but sometimes it's really not. And sometimes you do need that extra little help or someone there to help you and show you the way. So if you did want to kind of cut all that out and save your time and your money, our wonderful Seb Williams has a lead generation program that you would love for you to try out and be on. And it's so amazing to have that what's it called, like foundation, and know that you're doing the right thing and know that it's being handled by someone who knows what they're doing. Because I was always so anxious about what I was doing wrong, and I didn't know where I was going wrong. So if you are interested in this lead generation system, let us know. Either drop it in the comments, say me in the comments, or you can message any of us privately, and we will get you booked in to a call to show you what this is all about, because it's great doing it yourself, but you'll save so much time and money, especially in my case, if you go to someone who knows what they're doing.
I really appreciate that, Josie. Thank you so much for the kind words. I want to tell you guys a little story very quickly, if that's okay.
Ooh.
Because I really resonated with what you said there, Josie, but I was thinking about something else that happened to me recently. And you might hear the start of the story and go, I thought this guy was talking about lead generation and marketing and all of that stuff. I promise you there's a connect. About 6 months ago, I had an injury playing football, non-contact injury. I just twisted when I was running, wanted to run in the other direction. I turned, my leg didn't. Big popping sound. Seb on the floor, agony, all the rest of it. Tore my ACL, right? And until I had the scan and until I saw the surgeon and got like confirmation on what the problem was, but then also the roadmap of like these are the steps to take. This is how you will make it better. This is the expected timeline. These are the things that might go wrong. These are the things you want to look out for. All of that advice and experience and confidence was given to me by the surgeon and the physio. Until I had that, I really struggled. Like I'd get better and it'd get worse and get better and get worse. And I couldn't figure it out myself. And I tried. Like you say, it was costing me time, energy, and money in a lot of ways because I wasn't working as efficiently, and like it has a ripple effect, right? But as soon as I had that, I was able to borrow somebody's expertise and lean into their confidence and their conviction in like, this works. If you do this, this, it will work. Here's what to watch out for. But if you fall off track, just do this, this. As soon as I had that, within the last month, my progress has been insane. So much better because I'm able to move forward with so much more conviction because I'm borrowing other people's expertise and confidence. And it just made me think of that when you said that. I had the same journey when I started getting into business, particularly online business, digital marketing. When I first started learning from Jabaria, I borrowed her conviction. I borrowed her belief. I looked at the 2 Comma Club behind her and I was like, whatever you say, it clearly works. I'm just going to do it because I've spent far too long trying to figure it out on my own. And I know what I'm doing right now is not working. So if I want to get a different result, a better result, why wouldn't I go and learn from and at least lean into the experience of somebody who has the result that I want and got it in a way that aligns with me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so I say all of that to say, like, if lead generation is a problem for you in your business, lead generation, like, I'm never one to toot my own horn, but it is my bread and butter. Like bringing high quality leads to people that are interested in what it is that you do at a very good cost per lead. Like no guarantees, no results, all the disclaimers, all the rest of it, right? But on the whole, we do a pretty good job for ourselves and for our many, many clients. So, if people are struggling with that, you got nothing to lose by at least just finding out exactly how that might look for you if we were to help you with that.
Yeah, 100%.
And now, if they wanted to know more about that, and are you talking about just having the FLC team do the high quality leads generation for them, or do you have an option where you can teach them how to do it as well?
Both. Inside of FLC, we have a Facebook ads course inside of Launch Your Business, which will teach people the fundamentals, so they'll be able to learn it and embody it and apply it themselves. Or there is the option where we can step in and actually hold your hand and do it for you.
Awesome.
Whichever way people are wanting to go, if they're like, struggling with this, I need the help, then I think it's worth being at least open enough to be like, show me what you got. If you like what you see, cool. If you don't, cool. I'll buy you a cake anyway, right?
Amazing. Yeah,
we'll buy you a cake. We'll teach you how to make it, whatever you want.
Just bring the ingredients. So if that is something that sounds interesting, either comment lead generation below or message one of us privately, lead generation, and we'll get that sorted for you. Because it's okay to go for help. I feel like that's something
exactly
that needs to be said. It's okay to not be able to do everything. I feel like the same goes for anything in life. You go to the hairdressers because they know how to cut hair. You go to party planners because they know how to plan parties, and that's not your expertise. So
personal because they know how to get fit, right? You go you go to a doctor because they know how to do surgery, right?
Exactly.
Even
people
just opening up my knee, doing my tendon out my hamstring. I'll just whack that in there. Oh my gosh!
Let me just fix that.
Even the multimillionaires, when they don't know how to do something, they look for help. They reach out to somebody. They look for that. So they're always learning and always trying to, like we say, reinvest in yourself. So if you need that help, or you need to know a little bit more, or maybe we know a few tricks here and there that you haven't learned yet, then just reach out. We'll let you know. We'll get you the information you need and see.
On that point, is it okay if I leave everybody with a gift before? Because I know we're pushing for time.
Absolutely.
But
one thing that I really wanted to share that didn't come up yet in conversation, but I think it might be really helpful. And I just want to make to, we always preach and teach and live by the fact of over delivering.
Absolutely.
Is it okay if I just spend 2 minutes? I'll try to be as quick as I can, but I want to make sure people
take as much time as you want.
Okay, good. Okay, so we spoke about how to identify like what problem you're solving and who you're solving it for, the importance of that, right? Yes. How that will remove a lot of any of the fog and give you focus, right? where to really get started and what message to start communicating and where to start communicating it. But even then, that will help remove a lot of the overwhelm, no doubt about it. But then comes the thing of, I don't know how to make a good video, or I don't know how to write a caption, or I don't know how to write a landing page, or people have this thing, right? But for me, and I must give credit to Lauren Tickner for this framework, I adapted it a little bit, give it a little bit of Seb love, but I learned this from her, and I feel I must also give credit to, always believe in, giving credit back to where you learn things from, to Chibaria, to Master Shri Kashna, and to clients and community, because a lot of what I'm about to share came through those guys as well. So this is a 5-step process. How many steps? 5-step process to communicating anything effectively if you're wanting to instigate change or transformation for somebody, which is what marketing is, right? It's moving people toward the sale. It's the intention of, I'm going to find you, I'm going to help you, I'm going to move you, right?
Yes, definitely write this down, guys. Write this down. 5 steps. Okay, here we go.
It's food related. Are you ready?
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, okay.
We're making a cake. Let's go.
Pasta. Pasta. I love carbohydrates. For me, they're delicious. The only thing more delicious than a carbohydrate is 2 carbohydrates together. You feel me? Like, if you want a third in there, go for it. So I love pasta. But this is not just any type of pasta. This is a very special pasta, as I say. So the first thing I'm going to write down in your notes is pasta, big capital letters. Put 1 letter down the side, underneath each other. But make a note next to it. This really is the framework to communicate anything, to help move people towards change. Good. Okay, so P, it stands for problem. Problem. Just like we spoke about before, what problem are we solving and who for? People need to be problem aware before they will be open to the idea of a solution. They're not going to even think about doing business with you if they don't understand that you can solve the problem that they have, but they need to understand that they have that problem, right? Now, Chibari always makes fun of me because I speak so much about the problem. It is an empowering thing, right? Like, oh, people's problems, like, problems. But there's no getting away from the fact that people need to be problem aware if they're going to be solution aware, right? They're never going to buy a solution for something they don't believe they have a problem to solve, if they don't believe they have a problem to solve, right? So I love problems. That's what business is. That's what entrepreneurship is. It's solving problems for people. But you need to be able to communicate the problem. There's a lot of different ways you can do it. I love questions. Problem questions are my favorite. An example might be, let's think of a headline. If you have ever struggled with lead generation, ? Listen up, ... That's a really easy 1 line that you could say or write in a video or in a caption or whatever. That is a problem question. If anyone is struggling, like if someone is struggling with lead generation, they're going to be like, oh, that's me. Hello. Right? They might still be skeptical and have lots of questions, but now I'm speaking their language, right? Another, just to give another quick example, I might be like, getting on, like, how do you say? Done 10 sales calls this week and only closed 0 people? I can help, right? Something like that, and you want to inject your personality. Like, I really love a bad joke, all the rest of it. So I try and be like really badly funny, but you get the idea, right? Like, you want to state the problem, and questions are a great way to do that. Because if I just say, hey, you can't generate leads, that's not resonating with anybody, right? But if I ask the question, it's more inviting, it's welcoming. And if you're going to start content like that, it's a much more welcoming, inviting start, right? To have that feeling. So I love questions to help demonstrate the problem, to help communicate that. And in that, you can call out the people that you've exactly, like you can even call out the niche, right? So problem, that's the first thing. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. We could go deeper, but we'll be quick for time. You want to amplify, right? Having the problem alone communicated and established and people going, oh, that's me. Yes. It's not enough. You want to make it bigger. You want to make a mountain out of a molehill, essentially, right?
10x.
Make them feel
you
it.
want to 10x that problem. You want to scale it. But you need to amplify, make it bigger, get into the nitty-gritty. Because if I say, are you struggling with leads? I might have caught your attention, but now we're moving into retention, right? And if I can really understand the intricacies, I can't say that word. You know the word. Intricacy. Yeah, intricacy. I can't say it.
Oh.
Intricacies.
Yeah.
If I can understand the nuances of your problem, then again, it builds more relationship, right? And more understanding, right? And that needs to happen. But you can also make the problem bigger at the same time. So it might be like, hey, doing sales calls every day and not closing many deals? Listen up. I got you. That's the problem. Amplify. Look, there's no getting away. And this might be something you could say or you could write. It works for both. Doing loads of sales calls every day, not closing many deals? Listen up. I got you. Problem. Amplify. Look, there's no getting away from the fact that most closers do not know how to close. They're taught old tactics from the 1980s where it's hard pressure selling. And we know that in 2022 and beyond, that just does not work anymore. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yes, absolutely.
Right? So if I say something like that, people who are in sales, like that could be better, right? Not a brilliant example by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm now digging into the deeper nuances of the problem and showing that I understand, but also I want to make the problem bigger. The bigger the problem is, the more urgency there is to feel the need to solve the problem, right?
Yes.
So that's amplification. The next part is my favorite. S. Story. Story. Because people buy on emotion and then they justify it with logic later. This will always be true. People make impulse decisions emotionally and then they justify it up here. They move with this and then they justify with this. So stories allow this to connect, right? If you just start spitting out facts, you'll only get so far, in my opinion. Can work. You could state some facts earlier, like 8 out of 10 salespeople don't know how to close. 86% of stats are made up. Let's keep going, right? But you need some heart in there, right? So story selling is something I love. And there's something called the Epiphany Bridge Framework, which is, we could spend 2 hours talking about that. And that will tell you how to tell, that will teach you how to tell the most beautiful story that will move people with emotion, and it will cover some logic elements, but it will sell whilst you tell a story. And that is a whole other training on its own. But at this point in the past, you want to just tell a story. At this, it gives you the opportunity for people to get to know, well, why should I listen to you? Right? So here you go into more, it shows that you understand the problem, right? That you've got experience in this industry, that you have credibility. So tell a story of, the easiest way to break it down is to 2 parts. How many parts?
2 parts.
The not successful person and the successful person. And this offers opportunity for people to choose an identity shift. It's a closing example. Let me tell you a quick story. This could be the next thing you say. There's often 2 types of closers in the world. Type number 1, person A, blah, 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 blah. And then you state all the unsuccessful things that closers do. Hard pressure selling, all the rest of it. You go into all the bad examples of things that are going to keep people stuck with closing, with sales. The second type of person is da-da-da-da-da-da. And then you list all of the ideal qualities that a good salesperson has that you want your ideal client to have, which include often things like action taking and being open-minded and all of the rest of it, because that's true, right? And then you have a question, which person do you want to be? That gives them an opportunity to choose, but you're able to tell a story of 2 halves. Make sense?
Yeah.
It's the easiest way, in my opinion, to tell a story. Offer up 2 examples and let people choose. One of them's desirable, one of them's not so much. And this will be easier if you know what problem you're solving and who for. Because one story, one person is where they are right now and where they don't want to stay anymore. The other story you tell is where they want to be. The gap is moving forward, is action. Doesn't matter what you're selling. There needs to be movement, right? There needs to be some sort of commitment to action. So that's the story part. T, testimonials. Because at this point, people might be like, yeah, okay, this person knows what they're talking about. But why you? What, like, show me that you've done this before. Show me that you've helped people. We call this earn the right, in other words. Like, you need to have credibility. And people might not believe, like when I say, oh, I've marketed 2.5 million, people might believe that. And I hope that they do, because it's true. But that's like, okay, good for you, Seb. What about everybody else? So I don't often speak about my own result too much. I speak about the results that we've helped other people get. Social proof, because people will object to what I say. But when I bring whoever on and share their result that we helped them get, now they're like, oh, I can't maybe relate to Seb. I hope you can. But I can relate to Mary, who he helped. Oh, I can relate to that person. So the more testimonials you have, the better. If you don't have testimonials yet, use your own story. But you want to start collecting testimonials as quickly as possible. Now, obviously, in a landing page or something like that, you can just have loads of videos, right, and loads of screenshots and all the rest of it. In a Instagram Reel or a Facebook Live or this or that, just offer up 1 or 2 sentences. They don't need to be long. Taking this closing example we've been working through, that we helped Mary. I'm just going to give a completely made-up example, but we helped Mary with DCA. She closed 14K in her first 3 weeks of launching her business. We helped Brian do da-da-da-da-da-da, right? Oh, and then there was John who did blah, 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 right? And you can say that. Don't just take it from me. Look, here, and you just give 2, 3, 4 results, something like that. The testimonials, right? Social proof is so important. Final part, the second A. And we've spoken about it already, but it's so imperative, and people overlook this all the time. Action. Like when people have got to the end of your content, when they've watched the video or they've read the caption or whatever it is, or they've finished the live, what is the next step for them to take on the journey? Now, for me, there's 2 types of actions. How many? 2. They're both sales, really, because we're always selling. But one might be more value-based. One might be more of a direct call to action with a lead capture of some kind, right? With an intent for sale, right? So a value option might be like, hey, if you resonate with this, drop a love heart below. Let me know. Share what you took away from this post. You're not asking them to do anything with you, for you. You're just asking them to engage. That will help, obviously. A nice thing to do is say, hey, if this resonated with you, share it. It might resonate with somebody else. People are more likely to move to help others than they are to help themselves. It's a fascinating thing, right? So you could also ask for like a value action, or you could ask for a more direct call to action response. Hey, if this resonated with you, we got this free training, or we got this thing coming up, comment this below, or click the link in my bio, or whatever it is, and register. It might be more direct like that. And that's how you do it. PASTA: problem, amplify, story, testimonial, action. And if you just remember that, like if you jump on a Facebook Live, or if you're writing a caption, or you're writing an email, or any kind of content, just have PASTA in front of you. And then it removes any, well, what do I say? Okay, I'll start with the problem. Oh, okay, cool. What problem are we solving today? What an exciting question to ask yourself, right? And then as soon as you write something, the rest will flow. It will, but you just need to start. And hopefully that framework, I mean, you could literally use it for everything and you'll do pretty well, in my opinion. But I hope that helps.
That was amazing.
That was awesome.
That was so powerful. Thank you so much, Seb. Thank you. I enjoyed having you on here so much. I feel like we could go for hours.
Once we start talking about marketing and lead generation, especially copywriting. I love copywriting. It's such an art
Next
form.
time we can have you on again and you talk about copywriting.
Maybe we could go over the Epiphany Bridge. It's a great framework to tell a story.
That would be awesome.
Sure.
Story selling.
If you guys want that, let us know.
Bridge below if you'd like that, and we'll, if we get enough comments, maybe we'll do that.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
We'll make it happen. Oh, thank you so much, Seb, for sharing all of that. I found it really helpful. I know that anyone watching, hopefully you guys found it helpful too. And let us know any other topics you'd like covered, including Epiphany Bridge. And we'll be back next Sunday. Does anyone else have any final closing comments?
I just want to thank you, Seb. This was absolutely phenomenal. We love having you on, and we so enjoy being around you and talking to you and learning from you. It's just, you're an incredible person, and we love you.
Thank you so much, guys. Love you too. Can we please, as well, everybody watching this, just clap it up, drop some love for Misty and Josie, two FLC legends right here. As I said right at the beginning, showing up week in, week out, on their own time to be of service. You know, it's a beautiful thing. So thank you so much for your time and your energy, guys. Really appreciate it. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you.
Anytime. Thank you. On that note, are we ready to hear some wonderful, more wonderful Seb? Is what I meant to say.
Wow, I'm the outro as well. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yes. Well, I would love to have another song, a different song for the outro, but I'm afraid to ask for requests. Huh?
Me and Chabaria have one. I say me and Chabaria. Chabaria has one. I'm going to record it with her. Give us a couple of weeks. We'll have something for you. That
will be awesome. Thank you so much. But until then, we're going to go into this amazing song that you created, because I swear, as Seb, I absolutely love this song. I find myself singing it and listening to it all the time. So everywhere sweet. I'm going, it's like I got to put it on repeat and just always listen to it. So awesome. So sweet, Misty. Thank you. We got to give some credit to Disney as well. You know what I mean? Like Disney soundtracks. Yes. You just enhanced what Disney did, you know. Thank you very much. Okay, guys. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you guys next week. Love y'all. Closing is always easy when you're in Cardone U. We role play with Grant Cardone's team. They know just what to do. They're always there to support us. We couldn't ask for more. On our way in the right direction, we found what we're looking for. In FLC, in FLC. Closing is better with appointment setters. You'd better believe we're not a team but a family. We work together in harmony. We are devoted, on that you can quote me, in FLC. We welcome the newbies gladly. We know there's so much to learn. We've got your back for a lifetime. There's no need for concern. Just look at the world around you. There's deals to close everywhere. And if you face an objection, what would Jabari say? In FLC, in FLC, objections are easy. If you don't believe me, I have to agree. We can role play at any time. To disagree, that is a crime. We're practicing to get the cha-chings in FLC, in FLC. Since we started training, our leads ain't complaining. They're so happy. We get to role play with Big Brother Dave. We've got Coach Sean, the best coach ever born in FLC. All of our closers, they keep their composure. 10X is the goal, Uncle G, well he knows. We've got the spirit, and you've got to hear it. We're FLC.